What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to talk about filler. And I'm gonna actually be defending it, so this should be fun. Before I talk about filler, you guys are watching a time-lapse drawing of Pearl from Steven Universe in my own art style. I was already planning to color it, and I thought this might be more interesting to look at than just me. Even if I do have a devilishly handsome face, in my opinion. Joking aside, what do you guys think of this format? Because it might be more interesting to watch gameplay, or a time-lapse drawing, or, you know, whatever I can put in front, like pictures, who knows, actual footage. Of course, I'd have to be careful which studio I use footage from, because that could get copyrighted, but still, you know, if actually looking at something is more interesting than just my face talking, let me know, and I'll change up the format every once in a while and, you know, spice things up. So let me know about that. Also, I'm going to throw in a few minor spoilers for some of the series I'm going to talk about. I don't know what series I'm talking about just yet. I'm going to bring up examples, but still, I don't know how many I'm going to bring up, so I can't really tell you what spoilers are going to be here, but still, very minor spoilers with not a lot of context, so don't worry about that. Just a warning to let you guys know. So with that being said, let's talk about filler, that pesky-ass filler that everyone hates. But is it really that bad? The answer is yes and no. I'd say more so, yes, it is that bad, but there's definitely good filler, and that's why I'm making this video, because a filler gets this really bad reputation, and I feel like it's unfairly judged because of that when it's good, or just really in general. I mean, sometimes it's just not even given a chance, which I really think is unfair. I'm not saying it's unwarranted to dislike filler, because filler definitely has a lot of negatives, and when I say I'm defending filler, I'm not going to talk about the whole, you know, they need to make space for the manga so the anime doesn't overtake it. We all know why filler exists. If you're an anime and manga fan, you know why filler exists, you know that it's a necessary evil for scheduling and getting the manga ahead, you know all that. I'm going to talk about it from a writing perspective, because I see this all the time, whether it be Dragon Ball Super, or One Piece, or even the show Steven Universe. People say filler, and automatically hardcore fans of the series are going to be like, no, it's not technically filler, and or like, oh, this episode sucks because it's filler, and it's like, you guys have to realize that just because it's filler does not make it bad. Especially in the case of Dragon Ball Super or Steven Universe, where pretty much every single episode is canon. That's another misconception of filler. Not all filler is non-canon. You can have canon filler, it just depends on whether or not it's moving the plot forward, or developing any of the characters. And in the case of Dragon Ball Super, at least with the most recent episode, which was episode 68, it's canon, because there's no manga being adapted for Dragon Ball Super, it's all the anime. I mean, there is a manga, but it's not, like, the anime's not adapting it, so what you have is in-canon filler. It's episodes that are mostly just fluff after a big arc to sort of wind things down and give the audience a relief, and that's the purpose of episodes like that. And just because an episode doesn't move the plot forward and it doesn't have character development doesn't mean it can't be entertaining or fun. Sometimes just seeing the characters be themselves and just being likable and being awesome, like Dragon Ball Super does a lot of times, that can help you care about the characters more. You know, that's one of the things about Dragon Ball Super that I really love, is that seeing the filler episodes, seeing the characters interact, just be themselves, it helps me give a shit about what they're fighting for, because that's the piece that they fight for, and it's fun seeing them interact in that piece. Steven Universe is very similar. Just seeing the characters just chill and have family moments is pretty fun, actually, because they're really well-developed, well-characterized characters, I guess. That's kind of redundant, but yeah. You know, I was watching a video by Hail Zeon, and nothing against the guy at all. It was like literally the first video I ever saw by him, and he does not like Dragon Ball Super. And that's fine, that's his opinion. But one of the things he said, and I believe this was his you know, are we too critical of Dragon Ball Super or whatever video, and he said that, so he basically said something about nostalgia keeping the fans watching Super. He basically said, you know, if Super was any other series, and it started off with 2 filler episodes. You know, would you keep watching it, or are you watching it because it's Dragon Ball? And yes, the first 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Super are basically filler episodes, but that's not bad. Like, he says it like, oh, this is bad, and this is like, oh, why would you watch an anime like this? Give Dragon Ball some credit, dude. You're a fan of Dragon Ball. This isn't a video response to Hail Zeon, but it's like, I'm not watching Dragon Ball Super because of nostalgia. You know, like, I didn't even grow up really watching the original Dragon Ball Z. They're just amazing fucking characters. They can get away with 2, 3, 4 fucking filler episodes right out the gate because it's fucking Dragon Ball, and these characters have depth. They're not complex, but they do have depth. They are well realized. They're fleshed out. You can put them in any fucking situation and they can be entertaining, and that's the sign of a fantastic character. So character definitely plays a big part when it comes to enjoying filler, and Dragon Ball nails it. Steven Universe nails it. And then you have something like One Piece, which I want to bring up, because One Piece is probably the one that I think people, I don't want to say criticize the most, but One Piece it's sort of an interesting situation with One Piece, because One Piece doesn't really have filler arcs. It has short little, 4-episode filler arcs between the main canon arcs, but what One Piece does, because they only do 1 chapter of manga at a time to avoid catching up to the manga, they have to add in filler scenes. They have to extend fights, add in jokes, add in little scenes here and there, and this comes under fire a lot from One Piece fans, and I noticed the One Piece fan base is a fan base that wants the fucking anime to be 100% the manga. Like, whenever they deviate even slightly, whether it's good, bad, whatever, people flip a bitch. And it's just like, relax. Is the filler good? Did the extended fight scenes look cool? Did this flesh out a scene that Oda may have skimmed over? These are things you have to consider, not just say, well, this is filler, it's bad, they're just dragging out the episode. Yes, they are dragging out the episode with added scenes, but are the added scenes good? Because they're very closely integrated with the canon. I'm not saying they are canon, but because they're so closely integrated with the canon, I think they should be given a fair chance. They should be given, the benefit of the doubt and just say, well, let's see how they flesh this out. Because I can name examples. I can name a ton of examples. I did my research and took a few notes before I made this video. The walk to Arlong Park is filler. Luffy almost collapsing before using the Jet Gatling on Lucci is filler. A huge portion of the Smoker Virgo fight is filler, and you have to be a One Piece fan to know what I'm talking about right now, but these are all really good scenes that have all been praised. They gave a character from one of the most recent arcs. His name was Diamante, and his character, if you look him up and you know anything about Aerosmith, you know clearly Diamante's design is based off of the lead singer of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler. And so the anime added a scene where he comes into the Coliseum and he does like this little rock show kind of performance thing. Not a full-blown song, but he kind of dances around with the microphone, and that's a reference to who he's based on, which is kind of cool. And on top of that, he wraps it up by doing a finger gun gesture to the character Rebecca, which is really fucked up foreshadowing to something they're going to talk about later in the series, and that's really cool. None of it was in the manga. So there's plenty of times where filler can be badass, it can be just good foreshadowing because the animators know some of what's going to come up in the future. I mean, the One Piece anime is very close to the manga, but they still have a buffer there where they can foreshadow things. Now, don't get me wrong, it can always backfire. I'm not saying every One Piece scene they add is good. There's plenty of scenes that they use to just pad out the episode that are kind of pointless. However, that's not always the case, and there are some people, even with the extended fight scenes, where people are like, oh my god, there's so much added filler fighting. It's like, yeah, but it's fighting. Is it cool? I mean, shit, it's an adaptation. It's gonna be different. And that's pretty much all I have to say, honestly. I just think filler should be given more of a chance, especially in series like Dragon Ball Super or Steven Universe or One Piece, where it's either canon filler or it's in-canon filler that's very closely tied with the canon material. Filler arcs, yeah, those suck, because you can just skip them. They have no consequence on the overall story. But sometimes it's not bad to just see the characters be themselves for an episode without any major plot happening. Sometimes it's okay to extend fights or extend scenes or add context to a scene or foreshadow something. It's okay to add in little bits like that. But I don't know, what do you guys think about filler? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. You can also follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what you see in here, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.